Hello, world. It's me, Liesl Lafferty, from my bedroom. Welcome to Brave New Playwrights 2020, the virtual edition, episode 4. Yeah! If you haven't seen any of our other episodes, feel free to check them out afterwards. They just keep getting more and more views every week, so we love people watching our plays. I'm speaking to you today on unceded ancestral grounds of the Musqueam, Tsleil-Waututh, and Squamish nations. A little land acknowledgement. And I mentioned earlier, I'm a co-producer of Brave New Playwrights with Emma Leck is one of the other producers, and Rose Payne, who is at the control panel today, is just doing a masterful job bringing us to you live on YouTube. And our marketing maven is Joanne Chen. And of course, our fearless leader, Brian Wade, has been running this festival for, well, it would have been the 34th year, but the 34th year, instead of live on stage, we're live on YouTube. That's the way the things are these days. By next week, we're going to have a little donation button because, of course, we had to cancel the festival. So you're going to get the opportunity to help. It goes right to the festival if you're going to donate to us. We'll have the link attached to all of our videos, and it goes to the future to support playwrights. This festival is so fantastic. It helps all the playwrights at UBC. Everybody has to write a play, and then some of them get chosen for full productions, and some of them are staged readings. And then we hire like 100 people around town, actors, directors, stage managers, designers, who are all, currently out of work. So if you have the opportunity and you think that'd be a nice thing to do, I think that would be a great thing to do too. Get a little donation towards next year's festival. Today we have some of the stage readings for you. So first we'll have 3 plays, and I'm going to introduce, hopefully the actors come on now, and we'll have Cara DiGirolamo. We're having fun trying to pronounce her name. I've been getting it right every time, unless I'm live on YouTube. There's Cara. How's it going? Hi, Cara.
Hi.
People get my name wrong all the time, too. So we got 3 plays to do. Episode 308, answered by Indigo by Ashley Sozum, and Bird Watching by Tristan Hay Lee. It's also known as Divine Intervention. She tried to change the name very close to the end, which is great as an artist. You're fantastic. She found a new way to express herself. I'm all for it, but it's in the system already as Bird Watching. So I wouldn't want you to get lost if you're looking for her play. Bird Watching, Tristan Hay Lee. And Two Sides to Every Conflict by Andrew Horowitz. So these 3 plays, the first 3 that you'll hear were selected for the staged readings, and they're going to be the same cast throughout. And Cara is the director, a dramaturge. So in a second, I'll just throw it over to her and she will take it from there. And then at about 2 o'clock in about an hour, I'm going to come back on and I'm going to host the last play because it was supposed to be one of the full productions. And I'll explain all that a little bit more later. But in the meantime, you might see me pop my head up between, if there's a little time between plays today. The schedule is 1 o'clock, 1:20, and 1:40 for each of these first 3 plays. And so if you need me, I'll be here listening and chatting and reminding people of what they need to do. Just general all-around host. So are your actors here too, Cara?
Yes, they're here.
DiGirolamo.
I'll introduce my cast.
Okay.
My full cast is Amanda Wong, Drew Sickert, Ashley Harris, Morgan Holmstrom, and Adriana Jones. The first play will be starring Amanda Wong as Barack and Ashley Harris as Indigo. Episode 308, Answered by Indigo, a play by Asl Sozin. The stage is dark. Indigo and Barack are both mid-stage and talk as if they're narrators of a story. Their personality characteristics are not present yet. The sound of a table moving and someone falling is heard.
Come on, dude, hit him some more. He's still standing, for God's sake. Hit harder!
When his head had been smashed to the corner of the table repeatedly, the boy dropped his hands to the floor and held on. His brother grabbed him by the nape of his neck and pulled until the boy was now up. His vision swerved as if the axis of the world had been slanted.
You are a fucking weirdo, you know that? Even Mom and Dad secretly hate your guts.
His name was Roy, but everyone just called him the bastard. And a little while after the incident, when his wounds were almost healed, he was sent to the countryside to live with some distant relatives. Those distant relatives were so distant that when he finally made it to the house, they asked, "What's your name, boy?" To which he said, "Roy, sir, my name is Roy." The woman said, "Your room is upstairs to the left, right across our daughter's. You'll meet her soon."
It was a small house in the middle of the forest. A sense of serenity came over Roy as he looked up to the endless rows of trees.
Barak takes a deep breath and then releases it.
When Roy woke up early in the morning, he ventured out to the forest and sat by a tree after he finished his walk. He made sure to keep a different tree company each time.
In this house, no one hit him. In this new life, no one called him a bastard. Better yet, he'd hear during the mealtimes, you could see an angel.
Seriously, an angel. The sound of her walk would shush the world.
Her hair, which glowed with a hue of crimson every time sun touched it,
Was always tied up in a bun with a pair of wooden hair sticks that slightly curled up.
towards the end. He wondered how she looked with the hair freed from them.
He thought about this when he was drinking a glass of water.
After waking up, and also when he was sitting under the trees.
She wouldn't smile that much, but on the rare occasion she did, Roy would hear his
Pulse, as if it was a song, blasting in his ears.
Roy wanted to talk to her, but right after she finished what was on her plate, she would disappear into her room.
And he wouldn't see her until the next meal.
Roy saw the angel in glimpses for months until it was her 17th birthday.
He bought her a giant teddy bear and placed it in front of her door.
An hour passed,
Then 3.
then 5.
A day passed, and the bear sat there collecting dust.
Roy was devastated.
He wanted to curl up in a corner
Wait! She opened her door.
and pulled the bear inside.
She picked it up.
She did! She did!
She took the teddy bear inside.
Heart palpitating.
Roy ran to his desk and opened his laptop.
And there she was,
There she fucking was.
looking at the bear, smiling.
There she was.
Days passed where he would just soak up her every movement, every second of her day. He wouldn't even go out to visit the forest anymore. More than anything else, Roy wished he could watch over the girl in her sleep, but the bear's eyes couldn't see in the dark.
Maybe if he managed to talk to her, maybe then he could make her like him too. Maybe then she would allow him to sneak into her bedroom at night.
One weekend, her parents went to the city. In the morning, he made some oatmeal for both of them and waited downstairs.
But she didn't come. Looking outside the window to the branches being beaten by the pounding rain, Roy thought whether he was betraying the trees. He ate a spoonful of breakfast and headed to his bedroom.
As he rounded the corner after climbing the stairs, he saw a shadow ahead.
It was her, sitting on the floor and leaning on his bedroom's door.
How? Why?
He thought to himself.
The girl,
Walked up to Roy and kissed him.
she pushed him to his room, then to his bed.
He kissed her back for a minute,
He pulled away to look at her.
to really look at her, to understand if this was real.
She rolled on top of him and reached toward her hair,
And the girl's hair,
clambered onto her shoulders.
once again glowing in the morning's hue.
Despite the rain, so beautiful.
The girl's lips curled up, and when she looked at him,
And she leaned in again.
he was so paralyzed by her that he
Roy did not see the sharp corner of the hair stick closing in on him.
was only realized when he, stabbed in the eye,
The wooden piece going!
straight through.
Ah! He tried to move.
But the pain was so,
It was just so.
his lungs froze.
And he.
The girl pulled the corpse's arm. She held its waist, using all of her strength in her body, and dragged it over to the window.
She then pushed Roy's body down, and he
Fell down and down to the forest.
and landed on the bubbling soil.
And when the girl came back a day later to look,
His body was already swallowed.
The stage is lit now. Indigo sits across the desk. She has a studio microphone in front of her and a cue card in her hands. She is super cheerful, even when her words do not exactly match. Barak is seated beside her, focused and serious.
"Hello, everyone. For the purpose of today's introduction, we read An Eye for an Eye."
What did you think, Indigo? What sort of emotions did you feel from reading that piece?
So that was a very melancholic story, I would say. I'm not sure how to phrase it. It's not dramatic, or maybe it is a little, but not entirely. I think the writer was very cruel to his character, although he had his faults. I am not sure if he deserved what he got, well, but I enjoyed reading it. It was interesting. I hope you liked it as much as I did. This is Answered By, series episode 308, titled Answered by Indigo. I want to thank TBF for inviting me as a guest to their show. I've actually been a fan of this series since last year, so it's super exciting to be here.
Thank you, Indigo, for being our guest today. And before we start, I should remind you all that next Sunday, March 29th, the Brain Factor will be lucky to have Dr. Sophia Shea. Have you ever thought of your world as having two sides, the left and the right? Dr. Shea's research specializes in individuals who suffer from hemispatial neglect and are therefore unable to interact with one side of the world. And now we will get...
What do you mean by one side of the world?
It means exactly that. Some patients with hemispatial neglect would only eat the food on the left side of the plate, for example.
Indigo opens her mouth to say something, but Barak continues talking to the listeners before she can.
If you want to hear more about this disorder, don't forget to tune in next week at 11 a.m. So, Indigo, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. My name is Indigo. I'm currently in BU's marine program. I'm a vegetarian and my favorite food is veggie beet burger. I also I have bilateral amygdala destruction.
I see. So is your disease...
Can you tell me a little bit about yourself as well?
I'm Barak. I work at the Brain Factor, but our listeners already know that. So
Nice to meet you, Barak.
likewise. Indigo, can you expand on your disorder a little bit more? For example, how many people currently experience it?
If you're talking about the destruction caused by Urbaquita, specifically, I think there's only 4 of us.
In the whole world?
Yep.
That's such a small number.
I know. It's like scoring $1 million from the lotto, isn't it?
Indigo, can you tell us what bilateral amygdala destruction is?
It's basically the calcification of the tissues in the amygdala, which is an essential section of the brain for fear. When it is damaged, like mine, the cycle is broken and the input does not move forward, and voila, fear response does not happen.
Many researchers across fields often state that fear is an essential emotion, as it is recognized as a mechanism of survival. Since fear is such an intrinsic part of being human, many of our listeners were curious about how differently you, as someone who doesn't possess it, live. Indigo, have you ever experienced fear?
Yes, but it was so long ago. Now I can't feel it at all.
Do you ever wish that you were able to?
I think my condition allows me to escape what traps a lot of people.
Can you recognize fear on other people's faces or understand what fear is exactly?
Nope.
See. In order to solidify this concept a little bit more in our audience's minds, I will present you with a few items. Can you share your thoughts about each of them?
Indigo nods. Barak gestures her to talk.
Yes.
Great. Haunted houses.
Ooh, I've been to a few, but mostly in high school. I'd say they're surprising. You never know what's coming.
Tarantulas?
Cute. I've always wanted to adopt one.
What if it's poisonous?
It depends. I don't want to die, but if it's too cute, maybe I can pet a region where it wouldn't spread its poison, to which would be, now that I think about it, I don't know much about tarantulas. Do you?
No. Let's think of a scenario. You leave your favorite restaurant right after you finished your veggie burger, that is, and...
Beet burger.
What?
Not just veggie. I don't like quinoa and I'm allergic to soy, so I eat veggie beet burgers.
Okay, so you eat a veggie beet burger and you were leaving. Which path would you choose to walk home? The regular route that passes through the busy street, or the empty dark alley where you heard a stabbing incident happened a few days ago? The first one takes 20 minutes, whereas the second one takes 10.
I'd take the shortcut, of course.
Why?
Because it's shorter.
Even if something dangerous might happen?
There's no guarantee that it will happen just because it happened once.
But don't you think the fact that it's dark and isolated spot increases the chance of it?
Yes, I do.
I see. So Indigo, have you ever been in a life and death situation?
Like guns and knives kind of business?
Yeah, I'd say so, yes.
Then yes.
I see. Have you ever felt like the fact that you have bilateral amygdala destruction impacted your personal relationships?
It might have blessed me, actually. Most people have difficulty in approaching others. I don't.
That's very fortunate. But during my research, I found out that you had an incident with a romantic partner recently. If you don't mind, can you tell us what happened exactly?
Sure. I dated Max for 5 months. It started out really nice. I thought he was the kindest soul I've ever met. One day, I somehow ended up with his hands clasped around my neck. He squeezed and squeezed.
How did that feel?
Warm. And after 40 seconds of it, cold. Then nothing. I can tell you that it's not a particularly nice feeling to realize if the pressure doesn't leave, you'll die, but I didn't die. I'm even telling you about it. He must have let go after I passed out. I'm not sure. I woke up in the hospital the next day.
Was Max the one who took you to the hospital?
No, my dad, after he found me unconscious in my apartment.
It seems that individuals who have your disorder tend to struggle with distinguishing between trustworthy and untrustworthy people. Have any of your friends or family members ever shown concern over your relationship with Max?
You have a very calming voice.
What?
It's a nice quality, actually, especially for your work. I'd imagine you'd have way less listeners if you had a squeaky or a biting tone.
Brock leans away, reaches somewhere on the table next to the microphone, and clicks a button.
Look, we have an order here. Stop breaking it.
You said you wanted a natural interview. I'm being natural.
This is a serious show about brain dysfunctions. Can you hold on to your curiosity for a little while? I've worked my ass off for the past few years, and if you jeopardize my promotion... Oh, shit, we're losing listeners.
He throws a pointed look at Indigo, who smiles in return. He clicks the button again.
I am so sorry for the interruption. We just had a small technical issue, but now we're back. Returning to my question about trustworthiness.
Brock stops mid-motion as Indigo zones out and enters a stream of consciousness state. The lights fade away, concealing Brock. There's a direct spotlight on Indigo.
Happy Halloween. I sometimes use that as hello, but people say, dude, it's March. Of course, I know it's March. The truth is, even on April Fool's or Christmas, it will always be Halloween to you. But honestly, why do some people live their lives without ever being pickpocketed? When I'm 22 and I've been robbed at gunpoint 3 times already. And how does one feel fear? I get the basics. The sensory input someone acquires from the world is processed through the thalamus, and that automatically releases information to the amygdala, and the amygdala's job is to process the info / emotions or whatnot, and then transfer it again to the hypothalamus, which would activate fight or flight response, right? But how does it really feel? The last time I did was 18 years ago. I don't remember it. So tell me, does fear clutter in the back of your throat, or does it become a feather on your chest or drop like a pebble in your stomach? Where does the sensation begin? How does it end? When I woke up in the hospital bed after the incident, my mother was frantically scribbling on a piece of paper, another list. Whenever I hear my mother say, Indigo, sweetheart, I know you often have a hard time falling asleep, but I think to myself, here comes number 28 on the list. Do not walk in dark alleys from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Even if your apartment suffocates you, just bear it. Followed by, do not turn your back on a knife or a gun if it's pointed at you. Just give them all your money. This time around, the list I took home after I got discharged was brand new and even topped with a flashy title, Safe versus Shady. I took that list and put it on the fridge and stared down until the ink blurred into blotches. Max was perfect, like the guys from romantic movies, and I mean the annoying ones because, you know, most people like them don't exist in real life, but he did. I don't quite know what happened and how it happened. Mom saw him once and told me to be careful. I just stood there all confused. She was right. Out there, it's different. Out there, 3 a.m. sky has a swirl of fluorescent that time melts and the whole world settles in this perfect status. When I see someone stride towards me from my peripheral vision, their words evaporate even before they can say them. Most of the time, I don't even look to see if they're holding anything, whether it's a knife or a teddy bear. 99% of the time, though, I'm happy. To me, life has this sweetness in the air, even if it's sometimes polluted by that stale oil coming from the fried chicken joint below my apartment. I'm free. I'm free. I am free.
End of play.
All right. The video will come on in a second, but I couldn't wait to applaud. Excellent work. Thank you so much to the actors. We're just going to let the actors take 1 minute break. So you can turn off your camera for a second and change your name and then come back to us for the next play. Fantastic. Very well done. Thanks again for joining us, everybody. The next play up is Bird Watching, also known as Divine Intervention by Tristan Hay Lee, another one of our stage reading. And next week we have our last installation of Brave New Playwrights 2020 live from the internet. And it will be a reading of my play. It's called A Splendid Savage Place. All right, everybody's all done. Come on back, Cara, bring your fabulous cast back and we'll come back to the next play.
Actually, can you talk to Asl for a little while? Drew isn't here yet. So
Okay.
if you want to talk to the playwright for a moment.
All right, sure. For the playwright, for the play upcoming?
For this past one.
Okay.
She's here. So.
Hello.
Hi.
So tell me, which of the courses are you in, the 407 or the 507?
407.
407. So how was that this year?
It was pretty good. So it was my first year in the creative writing program, and it was actually my first time trying playwriting. So it was super fun. This is my first play, so.
Excellent. Very well done. And so are you a creative writing student? Is that your major?
Yeah, that is my major, and I minor in psychology. So that's where I got the inspiration for this play from too.
Oh, I see. Well, talk a little bit more about that. What about your psychology made you think of this?
So I was like taking a brain dysfunctions course, and I encountered this case like of the woman who doesn't feel fear, and I thought that was really interesting, and I thought, like, why not, like, you know, writing often comes from like a question you have, and I was thinking, how does a person who doesn't feel fear live? So I wrote this, but like that's, I guess, how I was inspired.
Oh, interesting. So are you going to take more creative writing courses now?
Yeah, so I'm entering my final year. So I still have like 6 more workshops to go before I graduate.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. Okay, it looks like our other actor is here now. Thank you so much for filling this time with us. And we'll send it to the next play. Have fun.
All right. My cast for this play is Ashley Harris as Gabe, Drew Sickert as Damon, Adriana Jones as Angela, Amanda Wong as Eden, Morgan Holmstrom as Superior, and I'm on stage directions. Birdwatching or Divine Intervention, a play by Tristan Haley. Gabe, dressed in a simple white robe, self-consciously sets up a circle of fold-out chairs. His desk overflows with papers. A workplace poster hangs on the wall. God is good. He adjusts the chairs, makes himself presentable, clears his throat, and claps twice. On cue, Damon and Angela are flung onto the stage from opposite ends, screaming.
Welcome to heaven. Damon, Angela, I've been wanting to meet you for a long time. Please, take a seat.
What's going on? How do you know my name?
Here in heaven, we know everything about you.
This is what happens when you walk into a Pizza Hut at 3 a.m. You meet crazy people and start to hallucinate.
Pizza Hut? I'm at Canadian Tire. I just made it to the front of a huge line.
Wait, heaven?
Oh, God. Are we on that idiotic new dating show? Because I told my brother-in-law it was a felony to sign up on my behalf.
Oh yeah, it just came out on Prime. What was it called again?
A game.
No, more like a
match?
a match made in heaven.
Yeah, that's the one.
I never signed up for this.
Me neither. I'm married.
Come to think of it, I'm missing one.
Frowning, Gabe claps his hands again and again.
Ugh, these atheists are a real pain to summon.
What does that have to do with...
Gabe claps harder until Eden is flung mercilessly onto the stage, crashing into the fold-out chairs.
Whoa!
Eden gets up, rubbing his head.
What the? Okay, how is this a gay bar? Matthew?
Now that Eden has joined us, we can begin.
Who are you? Where's Matthew? How do you know my name?
As I was saying, there are no secrets in heaven.
Then this is really...
Heaven?
Fuck.
We're dead?
They start running around the room. Gabe holds his hands up serenely.
You're not dead. I've just summoned you here before your time for some afterlife consulting. Have a seat.
He gestures down with his hand, and their knees all buckle into their seats, startling them.
I'm sorry, but there's no way that we're really in heaven. Look at this place. Look at the fax machine.
Oh, yeah, that's embarrassing. We have a guy coming in this week to upgrade.
You have your own office, so does that make you God?
God? No, not exactly. This also isn't really my office.
Well, if you're not God, then what exactly are you?
I mediate between the upper and middle realms as one of God's employees.
So you're an angel?
Angel is somewhat of a politically incorrect term. Nowadays we go by celestial beings.
Oh, sorry.
Do you have a name?
I do, but it's incomprehensible to your mortal ears, so you can just call me Gabe.
Okay, well, first of all, Gabe, I don't know why you called me up here. I'm an atheist.
I know that, Eden. That is precisely why I have summoned you.
Your name's Eden. No wonder you renounce God.
Okay, we get it. So you called this kid out to become a believer. Why me? Look at this cross. I've been sitting here for 40 years. I believe. I love my neighbor. I go to church once.
She counts the years silently. Long pause.
Well, at least I go. And I've got more important things to do with my day than sitting on someone else's conversation.
Angela, you're all here for a reason. This is your last chance to atone before your son shuts you out forever.
So I've made a few mistakes with my kid. Who hasn't?
That's not what I'm talking about.
Tell me something. Let's say I get into heaven and then say my son gets into heaven a few years later. What if my son's heaven doesn't include me? Hypothetically speaking, my heaven wishes overrule his, right? Because I gave birth and all.
Not exactly. Each paradise is an individually tailored simulation. Essentially, we just duplicate your son.
What?
That's so messed up.
What?
You're supposed to reunite people in heaven. That's what it says in the Bible.
Well, read between the lines. We are literally in the business of human creation. How else are we supposed to please everyone? But Angela, you won't be here to take advantage of that if you don't change course.
Duplicate? No, that's just wrong.
Angela, are you listening to me? Your self-destructive tendencies have to end somewhere. Get out of the drug trade.
Drug trade?
Angela tries to laugh it off. She looks at the startled Eden and Damon nervously.
I don't know what you're talking about. Don't look at me.
It's no use lying to me, Angela. I see you when you're sleeping. I know when you're awake.
Is he aware that he just...
He can clap us into dust. Just drop it.
My personal life choices are none of your business.
Angela, your personal life choices are literally my only business. They are the sole purpose of my existence.
This isn't afterlife consulting. This is an intervention.
A divine
All right, yeah, that's enough.
All right.
I'm really not interested in the holier than thou advice of some celestial being, okay? I get enough of that from my mother. I think I'd prefer you to send me back down to earth now.
All right, you pushed me to do this. You asked for it. Angela, if you continue the trafficking of recreational drugs, a horrific home accident, highly classified, will lead to the death of your granddaughter Abigail. Your son will never speak to you again, and eventually, so crippled with despair, he will unsuccessfully attempt suicide, resulting in paralysis from the neck down.
Angela is speechless.
This fucking Christ! Oh.
And then you'll go to hell.
Home accident?
Wait. You never said that you could predict the future.
Gabe turns to Damon.
What were you buying at Canadian Tire, Damon?
You stay away from me. I never said you could tell me what happens.
An accident?
Damon, your wife wouldn't want you to hurt this man.
Whoa! What man? I'm a man. What man?
The man had a serious drinking problem, and believe it or not, Mary's death set him on a genuine path to atonement.
Atonement? He ran her over, broke both her legs. She died in his windshield.
She was in his blind spot. Trust me, he had no idea that she was there. If you knew the anguish he experienced, the remorse.
What about me? I was the one who lost her. What about my anguish?
Damon.
It doesn't matter. She's gone now, and that's on him.
But if you kill him, you'll never...
Wait, kill? All right. This is just ridiculous. I have absolutely no place here. I'm a theology grad student. My parents are bookkeepers. The most interesting place I've been is Southern Ontario. I'm not like these crazies. Are you really saying that being an atheist is as bad as what, killing an Uber driver?
You want to talk about mistakes, human error? What was God doing creating accidents?
We actually have a scripted response to complaints of this nature.
Gabe walks behind his desk and rummages around. He produces an enormous binder.
1 second, let me just...
Gabe flips to the correct page.
The Lord works in mysterious ways.
Dead silence. Angela, Eden, and Damon look at Gabe with unfathomable venom. He cringes.
Okay, I know that's not very helpful. Can I be honest? I know this is a hard pill to swallow, but God may not always be with you. I wouldn't take it personally. He's a busy guy, and sometimes, mortal souls can kind of fall through the cracks.
Fall through the cracks? But God doesn't have time for his creations.
He works on the bigger picture problems. As for the small claims, sorting humans accordingly into their respective realms, well, there's an algorithm for that.
There's no algorithm in the Bible.
Well, yeah, that thing was written thousands of years ago.
I wrote about this in my dissertation. Classic Epicurus trilemma. Anyone?
Self-conscious silence. Damon clears his throat. Eden rolls his eyes.
The idea that God can be all-powerful, all-knowing, or all-good, but he can never be all three. Well, if you claim to be God's right-hand man, then you tell me personally which one he isn't.
Oh, I never actually described myself as his right-hand man, per se.
And then explain to us how he could have let this happen, and what he's prepared to do to fix it.
Gabe, where are you?
Quickly, get under that desk.
What?
Gabe waves his hand, and they fly into the desk as if jerked by an invisible force. Superior enters. Gabe sits at the desk.
Come in.
I thought I told you I wanted those files by 3.
Oh, right. I left them on your desk.
What about my cold brew?
They were out.
My God, who do we have to kill to get some competent staff up here? And what are you doing canoodling in Afriel's desk? Get back to work.
Superior exits. Angela, Damon, and Eden crawl out from under the desk.
Right away, sir.
Was that God?
No. God's office is up on the 125th floor. That was just my boss, or coworker. Essentially equals,
What did you say you are again?
I told you, I'm a celestial being.
No, not that. I mean within the corporation of heaven. What's your position?
I guess you could call me an intern.
God.
Holy shit!
Right.
Please stop blaspheming.
So you have no power.
Oh no, I have lots of power, just not bureaucratically.
Why do you even call us up here if you can't do anything?
Hey, I risked a lot to call you up here. If anyone finds out about you, I could lose my job.
Oh, your job.
Think mortal life is hard? Try working in human resources for 6,000 years.
As he gets more heated, Gabe accidentally incorporates magic into his hand gestures. Frightened silence. Gabe sighs.
All right, so it's possible that I've broken the rules. You're not really supposed to be here. I'm not really supposed to be telling you this stuff. It's just no one else cares up here. And I had to do something. I've always been drawn to your kind.
Gabe stares wistfully out the window, a color printout of blue sky.
I mean, can you blame me? We spend our whole existences devoted to the close surveillance of your lives. Sometimes it just strikes me how incredible God made them, your lives, that is. I've witnessed evils worse than hell on earth. There is such capacity for cruelty. I've been watching you for your entire lives. I see the things that the algorithms can't detect, things it can't classify, and I don't think the system's right about you.
Then why didn't you tell someone?
I did. I took a whole tray of files to my supervisor and made a case for them all. It took a post-verdict investigation and probably cost me my career, but my actions actually made a difference. Except...
Spit it out.
Not for you, right?
What, we didn't make the cut?
they weren't sold on U3. So I thought if I could just tell you what you're doing wrong.
But you can't, right? You can't do anything.
I'm trying right now, trying to give you a choice, to warn you, Eden. Can't you see that? Unlike everyone else up here, I'm trying to do something.
Well, it's not enough. These are my principles, my beliefs.
What's the problem? now you know for sure that there's a deity. Isn't that what you humans are always asking for? A concrete answer? A sign?
Yeah, well, that wasn't yours to give. I don't want it. Especially when there's just as much bullshit up here. It just doesn't make sense for him to punish us for things that he built into us.
Gabe, just tell me one thing. Mary, is she here? Up here?
It's forbidden to say.
Great. Well, thanks for everything. You've really made a difference.
Superior enters.
Gabe, cancel my 2 o'clock. Well, what have we here? Harboring fugitives, Gabe?
Sir, I can explain.
No, I think I understand perfectly well. You must be drug lady. You know, Gabe championed hard for you. Valiantly, one might say. Too bad it didn't work out. Might want to skip that drop off on Lakeshore next month. And you must be Canadian Tire Killer. Now there's a fellow whose bad side I don't want to get on. And an atheist in an executive's office. Are you trying to get cast from heaven?
I just want to go home.
Oh, not to worry. We don't want you here either.
Really? You'll send us back?
Well, I'd better before Afriel comes back from his lunch break and blames all of this on me. Anything you want to say to your new friend? You'll never see him again.
Thanks for trying, I guess.
All right. This should only hurt a bit.
Take care of yourself, Angela. Please.
I'll try.
Superior snaps her fingers and Angela fades off stage. He prepares to send Damon.
Prepare yourself, Canadian Tire.
Wait, Damon, your wife. She's here.
Snap. Damon fades off stage, looking upward.
You shouldn't have done that, Gabe.
Gabe looks away, bowing his head, his lowest point. Everything has failed. Superior turns to Eden.
Oh, you're going to be tough. I can already tell.
Superior starts snapping multiple times, warming up to send Eden back.
There we go. Okay.
Gabe, this heaven thing. I'll think about it.
Gabe, still despondent, now looks up to see Eden fade off stage. A flicker of hope. Gabe and Superior are alone.
Gabe, I could have you terminated. What were you thinking? This breaks at least 300 divine regulations.
I just thought that.
You have 2 options. Either I tell the Arch-A's you broke the holy code and you'll be transferred to hell, otherwise known as
Accounting.
or I own you now. That's what I thought. Oh, and I hope you understand, those mortals can't go back to Earth with any memory of this. I just did a routine wipe. The slate should be blank now.
You wiped them? But then.
What was the point? Don't get sentimental. They have to figure that one out for themselves. We can't just give people shortcuts.
But.
Gabe, you've only been here for a few millennia. So I'll let you in on a little secret. You're either born with it or you're not.
Superior walks to the door, cackling.
Oh, and one more thing. Don't forget to pick up my dry cleaning.
Superior exits. Gabe gazes at his window. As he speaks, the stage dims. He is speaking to God, but it is not immediately clear.
You know, I look out this window every day. I may be the lowliest employee, but I've got the best view. Sometimes birds fly outside. Earth's birds, heaven's birds, I'm not really sure. I heard you created birds on the 5th day. That it was just kind of an impulse, really, that you could do without them just as easily. I've been thinking recently, you know, these birds are kind of your perfect creation. When they die, their souls are indistinguishable from their bodies. They're simply birds through and through. And you know what they do? Sometimes birds fly outside. They fly around outside our windows, the same as they did when they were alive. The same pure form in life as in death.
Gabe looks up at the ceiling and points to the fold-out chairs.
Why couldn't you have made them like that?
The office dims. The poster is blindingly white. God is good. Blackout. End of play.
Right. Thank you very much. Good work. Ashley, take a little minute break there, switch your name, and then we'll go right into the third play. Hello, it's me, Liesl again. We're almost on time, so we'll just give the actors a 1 minute break to catch their breath, change their name on their little thing there so you know what character they're playing. And we'll go into the third play almost on time. And then we got one more after that. And it's almost the end of this festival. It's been pretty fun. We were very devastated when we had to cancel it, of course, but what a great opportunity it was to still have the playwrights hear their plays. It's a festival focused on the playwrights, and that's the important part. Is hearing your plays read. Actors bring so much to it. They change it. You know, you write this black and white character, black and white surface, or on your computer, and sometimes I write with a good old-fashioned pen. And it's one thing, but when people take this time and study it a bit and look for what the character's heart and soul are, it's really beautiful to see them brought to the stage. And for me, I read all the plays back in November when they were all submitted, but then I like to not see them at all until they get presented. So I get a little bit of a surprise for each of them. And that was a lovely, thank you so much for the great reading. Okay, Cara, if everybody's back, you can come back and I will
Hi.
go away.
Yes, in the next play, Two Sides to Every Conflict by Andrew Horowitz, Jack will be played by Drew Seacard. Paul will be played by Morgan Holmstrom. Joseph will be played by Amanda Wong, and the stage directions will be read by Ashley Harris.
This is Two Sides to Every Conflict by Andrew Horowitz. Paul and Joseph are arguing in private near a bar, stage left, while Jack sits at a table alone, stage right.
Come on. I see what you charge here. How much are you going to make tonight alone?
Enough.
What are you? Come on. I'm being serious here.
So am I.
You don't think I have a right to know at least this? After all the time I've given to you? After what, years we've been through together?
Joseph looks Paul up and down.
No word? No.
Listen, I'm the one.
He looks around nervously and moves further to the side with Joseph. Jack glances over at them for a moment.
I'm the one out there putting my ass on the line for.
Nuh-uh. Nah. One of. Not the one. You understand that? There's probably hundreds of drivers out there willing to work for half of what you're asking for.
No one out there is as fast as I am, and you know it.
Kid, this is not a negotiation. You don't like it? Try and find someone else willing to put up with your shit. Then come back to me when you realize that there is no one else. And maybe I'll let you stick around. Maybe.
Joseph begins to walk away. Paul grabs his shoulder and stops him.
Hey, listen to me.
Not until you got something worth saying.
Joseph pulls Paul's hand off his shoulder. Paul clenches his fist, then storms off. Joseph moves to the bar and wipes it down with a rag. As Paul passes the table, Jack raises a finger as if to flag him down, and Paul stops.
Paul, take a seat.
Excuse me?
Just sit down. You're going to want to hear what I have to say.
Paul glares at him for a moment, then sits down across from Jack at the table. He places a cigarette in his mouth, lights it, and exhales, blowing smoke in Jack's direction.
Do I know you?
Jack smiles warmly.
No, I don't believe so. I don't believe I've had the pleasure yet. Jack.
Yeah?
I couldn't help it over here, and I wanted to help you out.
Yeah, great, pal. Listen, if I needed help.
Warn you then. I've been on both sides of that conversation before, trust me. That guy owns this place, right?
Who? Joey? Nah, he just keeps the place going. The Torrio family, they own this joint. Wait, why are you?
Exactly. Guys like that, they're just handed things. He doesn't even own this place, and he thinks he can call all the shots, control everything you get up to. He thinks he knows best. Guys like that, they're dangerous.
Paul snorts and leans back in his chair.
He's an old man. He sits behind a bar and he pours drinks. He ain't dangerous. And he's sure as shade in controlling anything I get up to, okay?
And he knows that?
Of course he does. Look at me. You think he's gonna mess with me?
Sure. So he knows his place and he heard your proposal out. Gave you a fair deal, right?
Well,
Look, if he truly realizes, and I mean understands to his bones, how vital you are, how vital you seem to be to this whole outfit, then you have nothing to worry about. I apologize for taking time out of your evening. I clearly have no advice that would be of any use to you.
Jack smiles again and motions to Paul to go ahead. Paul doesn't move.
all right. Supposing he doesn't seem to get the picture, what is it exactly you think you have to offer?
Jack lowers his arm and folds his hands on the table.
Like I said, I know what it's like on both sides of that conversation. He was handed everything, this bar, you, everything right to him. He's got to know how precarious that is. Probably pretty worried about someone as talented as you.
Yeah. He seemed nervous, scared of me even.
Exactly. Weak men tend to get antsy around take charge people, you know? Real leadership types. Men like him, they all have all sorts of bluster till the going gets rough. All front though, just like this place. As soon as someone poses a threat to him, he's going to tuck his tail between his legs and go running to the police. Mark my words.
Paul freezes for a moment, then exhales.
Nah. No, nah. He set up shop underground for a reason. He wouldn't want the cops involved here. This is his whole livelihood.
But he didn't set up the shop, did he? You said it yourself, the Trio family did. And you really think the cops don't already know? Everyone in the city knows this place. Hell, I got a membership card to this place from a friend of mine. Real straight-laced guy, too. Had plenty of them to hand out, too. All from him.
Joe's too careful to just be handing out cards to anyone who walks in. Besides, he goes to the cops. He gets arrested too. We all walk out of here in cuffs.
Paul holds his arms out as though in handcuffs to emphasize. Joseph pauses and glances up towards the table.
You think someone that careful wouldn't have police on his payroll, too? You pose that much of a threat to him, he'd probably want them as a line of defense, don't you think?
Paul begins fidgeting nervously. Jack leans in close. Joseph resumes wiping the bar down, but keeps looking over at the pair occasionally.
Guy like him, weak guy, can't be reasoned with. If he had any common sense to begin with, he would have seen your value by now. Only thing weak men like that understand is strength. You need to make him understand that you pose a real threat to him. Otherwise, he'd never admit how scared of you he clearly is. You show him you're serious, prove your strength to him. Sooner rather than later, he'll be too busy shitting himself to say no. Otherwise, he'll just see you as replaceable forever. Expendable even.
How do I do that?
Jack smiles and sits back. He shrugs.
Come on, Paul. You're a smart guy. I'm sure you can come up with something. Just as long as you act now before he gets too confident.
Yeah. I'll come up with something. Real soon.
Paul stands up and exits stage right. Jack waits a moment, then stands and walks to the bar. His posture becomes more meek as he approaches Joseph and smiles nervously.
Joe, right?
Joseph looks up and his eyes narrow.
Joseph.
Jack's smile falters and then returns as he raises a finger at Joseph as if to say, point taken.
Of course. Joseph, forgive me. My friend over there told me to ask for Joe if I ever came around here.
Joseph is already looking back down at the bar.
Did he now?
Or Joey. But now having met you, that feels inappropriate as well. My apologies, of course.
An uncomfortable silence fills the room.
So he told you about this place then, huh?
Oh, yeah. He gave me the card to get in here, too. We go way back. He used to be like a brother to me, or a cousin maybe. Our dads were close, is what I'm trying to say.
I make a habit of recognizing every face that ever walks through those doors. I trust all those people. You are not a familiar face. Tell me why I should let you stick around here.
Well, normally I would say because Polly vouched for me, but
What?
Jack opens his mouth, then closes it abruptly. He sighs.
nah, no, I'm sure it's nothing. Forget I said anything.
I don't forget things.
Joseph stares directly at Jack and remains motionless, imposing.
I wouldn't want him to get into trouble. I'm sure he'll cool off.
Joseph lowers one hand behind the bar and removes a large knife without breaking eye contact. He places his hand back on the bar without letting go of it.
Okay, I get it. There's no need to tell me twice. 3 times, I mean. However many times. Point taken. Loud and clear.
Talk. Now.
We just lost touch a little while ago. I don't know. It was sometime after he started driving liquor.
Joseph's tone becomes threateningly still. Jack looks down at his lap.
He tell you about that?
He used to tell me everything.
Jack looks back up.
I didn't tell anyone, I swear, about anything. And I don't have a problem with it, the bootlegging, any of that. I just didn't want him to get hurt. I just came here to tell him to be careful.
What do you mean, be careful?
We'll see. You won't tell him I said any of this, right? I don't want him to get him into trouble. He's just a kid, you know?
Joseph sighs and looks irritated, but less overtly threatening.
Yeah, sure. What's he got himself into?
He just kept talking about how important he was going to be, how no one could mess with him, right? Sounded like he was trying to rob someone or go after them or something. I don't know who, some rival family maybe. But if that's something you asked him to do, I promise I won't say a word to anyone. I swear.
Jesus. What's this kid getting himself into?
So that isn't something you asked him to do? Go after the Torrio family?
Joseph takes several steps back, visibly shaken.
You sure he said that? That's what you heard? Torrio?
I wouldn't forget it. I've known him since he was a kid. I just want him to stay safe. The only reason I came here today was because a friend of ours mentioned that he said something about it all going down really soon. I'm worried about him. But if you can somehow talk him out of it.
The door slams open and Paul reemerges brandishing a pistol. Joseph picks up the knife and runs to the other side of the bar to face him. Jack uses the distraction to slip behind the bar and hide.
I know what you're trying to do, kid. Drop it now, and I let you go easy. You're in over your head here.
No, you don't get to decide how this works out because you're weak, right? And I'm taking control, you know?
Joseph begins approaching him, still holding the knife.
Jesus, you don't even know what you're doing with that thing. Come on, put it down. We can all...
The gun goes off. Joseph yells, lunges with the knife, and they both collapse on the ground. Jack stands back up from behind the bar.
Whew. That was a lot quicker than I even expected. Wouldn't you say?
He looks down at the 2 bodies in a heap in front of him. Paul tries to crawl away, groaning. The knife is still embedded in him.
You did great, by the way. Better than I could have even hoped.
He grins widely and grabs the rag that Joseph was using to wipe the bar down.
You work on your manners, though. Our dear friend Joseph would prefer you were a tad less familiar with him, from what I gather.
He yanks the knife out carefully with the rag, and Paul goes still. He takes the gun and removes a wallet from Paul's coat before moving over to Joseph's body and taking his wallet as well. Jack moves back towards the bar and takes several wads of cash from behind the bar.
Okay, fine. Maybe great is an overstatement. I did great. You two were both serviceable, I suppose. Not that I'm the one to blame the tools that are available to me, but hell, I'll allow myself to in this case. You were flawed tools, to say the least. But if I may say so myself, I turned them the performance of a lifetime. Both of your lifetimes, actually.
Jack exits stage right. End of play.
Right. Fantastic. Good work. Thank you so much. Thanks again to the actors. So that's all for that set. They had 3 plays today in the staged readings section. So maybe we should see those actors once again before we say goodbye. I think we need to give them a round of applause. We need to acknowledge them one more time. They just read 3 plays super well. Morgan, you were awesome. Ashley, You're great. Drew, good work. Amanda, fantastic. Oh, Adriana. Sorry, I said your name wrong. You've been so great. Where are you from, Adriana? Are you taking one of the playwriting courses? Oh, you're muted.
Uh,
Yeah, there you go.
my back?
Yeah.
Great. Am I taking a playwriting course?
Yeah, I've seen you around a couple of times. Oh,
I'm in the MFA program. I'm mostly a screenwriter, but I'm also an actor.
I
and
see.
Yeah.
In my brain, you were the screenwriter, and I thought she's so good at acting because I've seen you
Yeah,
about
no,
3 times.
I started writing because I'm an actor and I first started writing for myself. Then I was like, oh, I also really like writing. So now I do both.
Excellent. Good work. That's a very, very good idea. So let's talk to you all for a second, because a couple of you folks are in my play next week too. Morgan and Drew, did you both come from Frank Zotter suggesting you to come?
Yeah.
And oh, that's great. But Morgan, are you a student at UBC?
No, I'm not.
Oh, fantastic. And Amanda, are you?
No, I'm not a student there either.
Oh, so this is another cool part about the festivals. We get to hire people from the outside to come in. And I think it's so good for young actors to do this with their time, because I hear from the people at Playwrights Theater Center, the worst thing, everybody comes out of acting school all ready to jump into scenes and stuff, but nobody can cold read. So for you to come out and practice these tools, these exercises, and sharpen your tool shed, I think it's just great. Not that any of this was cold read. Our next play is sort of cold read, but anything you can do like that is such a good idea. And at Brave New, we really appreciate it, because of course we couldn't do the festival without you. And actors are, you get the least pay of anybody. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, but it's so great for you to have it on your practice and to have it in your resume. And Ashley, where did you come from?
I also came from Frank Zotter through an acting class at UBC.
All right, Frank. Kudos to Frank. We'll have to, hopefully he's watching today. If not, maybe he can watch it some other time, because we'll still be sitting there on YouTube. But Frank, I used him last year took Kara's position. He was the director and dramaturge for the readings. So I'm so grateful to you all, and you did an awesome job. Really makes a difference. And let's just see what time it is. We just have 3 minutes. So I want to just take a 2 or 3 minute break. We'll come back at 2 o'clock. We've got one of the same actors for the final play. And yeah, so just another round of applause for you. Thank you so much, actors. Kara, you did a great job. I really appreciate it. It looked like your bookshelf was falling over on your head.
It was close.
Close, very close. Okay, so I'll see you in about 2 minutes for the final performance of the day. Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. We're back. I'm back. Hopefully everybody else is here as well. We've still got some participants in our waiting room, so everybody will be here. Now, this last play that we're doing was actually selected as one of the full production plays, but some of their director and cast couldn't make it. So we decided we have a new cast they haven't seen before. These people kindly showed up at the last minute, except for Mida. She was here. She was part of the cast before. Alicia is, hello, welcome. Can you just put your role, the name of your role and your name there? Your Arya. And Manish is Raj. Mida is Kamal, the mom. And we guess we have one more person to join us. Oh, Drew. Drew shouldn't be far away. He was just here a second ago. So this play, they lost their cast except for one, and they lost their director. And so the five of us just met this morning and did a quick read through. And we wanted to honor the playwright because she wrote the play. And so it's always nice to hear, you get to learn stuff. And she told me this morning that it's actually part of a bigger piece. So I'm so glad that we carried on to decide to do it because hopefully it will be additional value. There's Drew. Hey, Drew, you've been doing costume changes. That's nice. I saw your Ottawa Senators t-shirt there and I thought, is he going to be able to read my play with an Ottawa Senators t-shirt?
I got it at Canadian Tire.
Oh, did you? Ah, I see. And did you draw that picture in your background of yourself of what's his name, clown?
No, so that was actually, I had that done by an artist here in town, and she works strictly with pastel. So that's that whole painting's done with pastel.
Well, it's awesome to support the Canadian. This mine painting is also of a local place done by a local.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, so the play is called Cross-Cultural Exchange, and it's by Tanvi Bhatia. And everybody's here now. Drew, you've got your name on it. So it's a pretty straightforward, fun little play. I'm glad to have a little bit of a comedy to end off the festival with. This section of the festival, we got one more play next week. So as long as everybody's ready, we shall start. Okay, fantastic. Lights up on the dining room. Raj, Kamal, and Arya sit at the table. There's a fourth chair. It is empty.
You can start eating if you want.
Raj reaches for a piece of papar. Kamal swats his hand away. Oh. Can you say that again? You were muted. Can you let's just start again from the top. Everybody's on mute. Okay, right. Lights up in the dining room. Raj, Kamal, and Arya sit at the table. There's a fourth chair. It is empty.
You can start eating if you want.
Raj reaches for a piece of papar. Kamal swats his hand away.
Chup. If he wants to make us wait, we'll wait.
Mom, you promised you'd be nice.
Relax, beta.
Don't tell me to relax. I hate it when you tell me to relax.
Okay, calm down.
That's the same thing.
I'll have to reheat the food. It's no good when it's cold. I don't want him to come into this house and think that we don't know how to host.
It's been 5 minutes.
7.
Relax, relax.
The doorbell rings.
I'll get it. And please, don't make a big deal about him being late, okay?
Of course, beta. We'll be on our best behavior.
Mom?
We don't want to keep him waiting. That would be rude.
Please.
Arya exits.
7 minutes late. Why even bother showing up? Be shut up.
No, give him a chance. Remember the first time I met your parents?
I try not to.
They came around eventually. They could tell we were in love.
No, they found out you had a green card. I just don't want Arya to rush into anything.
Don't worry, she's young. This is just one of many boyfriends to come. I'm sure of it.
She's never brought anyone home before.
It doesn't mean anything. Trust me.
Arya enters, followed closely by Aiden. They hover a few feet away from the table.
Mom, Dad, this is Aiden.
Raj and Kamal exchange a glance.
It's nice to meet you.
You promised you'd be nice.
You didn't tell us he was...
It's nice to meet you too, Adam.
Actually, it's Aiden.
Yes, welcome, Aaron. It's lovely to have you in our home.
It's Aiden.
Thank you for having me. I'm sorry I was late.
It was only 5 minutes, babe.
7.
Mom,
You may as well have a seat. I'm going to reheat the food.
Oh, no, you don't have to do that.
I don't really think that's necessary.
Sit down. It will only take a minute.
Kamal stands up and walks to the kitchen to turn on the oven. Arya and Aiden sit down at the table.
So, Alan,
Then,
where are you from?
Oh, I'm, from here.
Here?
Well, I had to drive like 20 minutes to get here, but there was a bit of congestion on the highway.
Oh, no. I mean, where are you from? Where are you really from?
What do you mean?
he already told you, Dad.
Where is your family from?
Oh, they live in the city too, but a little further north.
No, not your parents. I mean, where are you from originally? Where are your people from?
Well, I guess my great grandparents originally moved here from London.
Oh, I have cousins in London, near Kensington.
I don't think he knows your cousin.
I've never actually been to the UK, but I'd like to someday.
Must be hard to be so disconnected from your roots. You must love your tea, though, eh, mate?
Raj slaps Aiden on the back a little too hard.
I'm more of a coffee person.
Kamal re-enters and sits down at the table.
The oven will take a few minutes to preheat. Why don't you tell us about yourself, Aiden? What do you do for work?
Well,
Doctor,
I mean, not exactly a.
don't be modest. He's a really good one, too.
Really? Because I have this rash on my back.
What kind of a doctor?
What?
You say he's a doctor. What kind of a doctor?
The normal kind.
I was asking Aiden.
I'm a veterinarian.
Arya should have told us. We prepared a meat dish.
A veterinarian? Like a doctor for pets?
Yeah, I've always been really into animals,
And you make enough money doing that?
Jesus, Mom.
What does Jesus have to do with it?
Well,
I just want to know if he can provide for my daughter.
We support all religions, Alvin. Jesus, Krishna, Allah, whatever you believe in, it's okay in this household. I don't know about those Mormons, though.
Not a Mormon, Dad. And it's Aiden.
That's what I said.
Tell them about your 5-year plan, babe.
Really?
Yes, really.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't really. I guess I've been saving for a down payment. I do want to be a homeowner. There's this position opening up at the clinic, and I think it'd be a really good opportunity. And yeah, that's kind of it.
That's it.
That's it.
What about marriage, kids, personal growth?
Well, since you asked,
Don't just ask.
Who wants appetizers?
Raj reaches for the papar. Kamal slaps his hand.
Makwas bankaro, you ruin your appetite.
Oven timer dings.
Thank God.
Arya, why don't you give me a hand with these dishes?
please don't.
Fine.
Ari and Kamal stand up, pick up the dishes off the table, taking them to the kitchen. Lights down on the dining room. In the kitchen, Ari and Kamal put the dishes in the oven.
A little warning would have been nice.
A warning? You're being ridiculous.
I would have made pasta.
He eats Indian food, I'm pretty sure.
Should I prepare grilled cheese just in case? Or is he lactose intolerant too?
Why are you giving him such a hard time?
I'm not.
You are.
I'm not.
Mom.
I want to make sure he's good enough for you, okay? I don't want you to settle for any Gora who takes interest in you.
I'm not settling. I'm not settled. He's cute and I like him and I want to see where this goes. Can you just be happy for me?
Is that really his natural hair color? Okay. All I want for you is to be happy, Beta. It's just going to take some time to adjust is all.
And you'll be nicer to him?
I'll be nice.
Thank you. It means a lot.
Lights down in the kitchen, up in the dining room.
Thanks again for having me over, sir.
You don't have to call me sir. My name's Raj.
Well, actually, I was kind of hoping, and I meant to do this later on in the night, but if the opportunity is presenting itself, I was kind of hoping that pretty soon I'd be calling you dad.
Is that a cultural thing?
No, I mean, I'd be calling you dad because you'd be my father-in-law. Because I want to marry your daughter, like soon. I was actually hoping to ask her tonight.
Aiden reaches into his pocket and pulls out a large, flashy ring. He sets it on the table.
Tonight?
Yeah, I hope that's okay. Ah, shit. Should have asked her permission first.
Are you serious?
Well, I mean, yeah. I know it hasn't been that long, but I've never dated a girl like Aria before. There's something about her that's just so different, you know? She's exotic. No, not exotic, but like worldly or something. I bet you felt the same way when you had Aria's mom.
Not exactly.
I really think she'll say yes. Do you think she'll say yes?
Arya and Kamal re-enter the dining room. Aiden quickly throws a napkin on top of the ring. When Aiden isn't looking, Raj pockets the ring.
What did we miss?
Nothing at all.
The food is in the oven. It shouldn't be more than a few minutes. So, Aiden, why don't you tell us how you and Arya met?
It was a party, actually.
Were you drinking at this party?
Dad, what?
I'm just asking a question.
Yeah, I mean, I had a couple of beers.
Well, I hope you were driving.
Well, I mean, I had my car, but it was only 2 beers, and I waited like 3 hours before giving Aria a ride home, to make sure she was safe. And
You drove drunk with my daughter in the car?
It was 2 beers. I wouldn't have gotten in the car with him if I didn't think it was safe.
Raj, please.
Finish the story, Aiden.
Okay. We were introduced by some mutual friends and ended up having a lot in common. So I drove her home very sober.
And he walked me to the door like a gentleman and then left. And we've been together ever since.
That's nice.
Do you know how Kamal and I met, Alejandro?
It's Aiden.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
We met in grad school. We were both doing our MBA. You know how long we dated for?
How long?
2 years. 2 years before I proposed.
I was getting kind of tired. I thought it was never going to happen.
No, you weren't. 2 years was perfectly reasonable.
But at the time, all of my friends were getting married and you just weren't proposing. I started looking at other options.
Wait, what?
What? You couldn't expect me to wait forever.
This isn't the point.
There is a point.
I think I understood perfectly. Aria, there's something that I need to...
The oven timer dings.
Food's ready.
I'll get it.
Why don't I give you a hand?
That's very sweet. Thank you.
Kamal and Aiden exit the dining room. Lights up in the kitchen.
You have a lovely home.
Thank you. It's nice to see Arya so happy.
Yeah, she's pretty great, isn't she?
She is.
Kamal and Aiden pick up the food. Lights go down in the kitchen, up in the dining room.
Leave him.
What?
I don't like him. I think you should break up.
What the hell? Dad, you can't just...
Kamal and Aiden enter with the food. They sit down at the table.
All right. Shall we eat finally?
Please.
Raj picks up a tray of papar and offers it to Aiden, who takes a piece.
Before we start eating, there's something I wanted to...
Try some first.
Okay, I'll just have a bit.
Aiden takes a bite. He chews. He swallows. It's spicier than he anticipated.
It's kind of spicy, huh?
It's just a bit of chili powder for taste.
What did you want to say, Aiden?
Well, yeah, God, my tongue is on fire. I just wanted to ask if you'd consider...
If I consider...
I didn't expect this. Expected. Sorry, I mean, do you want to marry me?
What?
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 Can I have a glass of water or something?
You want to get married?
Well, yes.
We've only been dating for 6 months.
Well, yeah, but
I haven't even met your parents yet.
yeah, I know, but
I don't even know your middle name.
it's Marvin.
Marvin?
Can you just hold on a second?
Aiden reaches into his pocket and digs around for the ring, but he can't find it.
Shit. Where did I put it? Has anyone seen the ring?
Aiden looks around the table, then crawls under to check.
You don't really want to marry this guy, do you?
She doesn't. It's far too soon.
Better than 2 years, though, right?
Look, I was just being honest.
You wouldn't want Arya to start looking for another option for just because he's taking too long, would we?
I didn't tell you that so you would.
Both of you, shut up. Sorry, but this isn't about you. And it's not about you either. It's about me. And Aiden, I guess.
Of course it is, Beta. Come on, look what you've done. You've upset her.
Oh, stop it. You're worse than she is. Stop cracking jokes. Stop trying to make my decisions for me. And for fuck's sake,
Language, Beta.
get his name right. It's not that hard.
There is no need to raise your voice.
Aiden emerges from underneath the table.
I had it a second ago, I swear.
Raj slips the ring out of his pocket and places it on the table when Aiden isn't looking.
Looking for this?
There it is. How did I miss that? Okay, let's try this again.
Aiden takes the ring and gets down on one knee in front of Arya.
Arya, I know this is kind of soon, and my mouth is still burning from whatever that was, and the food is getting cold again, but being with you has been amazing. I know that your culture is really important to you, and I want to show you that it's important to me too. So here goes nothing.
Aiden hands Arya the ring and stands up. He pulls out his phone and presses play. An Indian song starts playing. Something you can dance to, but the lyrics should be completely inappropriate.
What are you doing?
Aiden attempts a Bollywood-style dance. It is messy but sincere, with lots of heart, and not at all mocking. After about a minute, he stops and turns off the music.
That's as far as I got.
That was
Amazing.
Phenomenal. A+.
How long did you practice that?
A few weeks. I watched a lot of YouTube videos.
Great work. I have a few notes.
Arya, what do you say?
Arya looks at Raj and Kamal and then back to Aiden.
that was something.
No, I mean, what do you say to marrying me?
Oh,
Everyone looks at Arya expectantly.
can I get back to you on that?
Sure.
No one knows where to go from there.
I think I'm gonna go, actually.
Oh, you don't have to do that.
No, I'm going to go. Thank you so much for having me.
Do you want to take some food home?
That's okay. I'll just,
Arya extends the ring. Aiden picks it out of her palm, slipping it into his pocket.
I'll call you.
Cool. Nice meeting you all.
Great meeting you, Andrew.
Aiden exits. Arya, Raj, Kamal sit at the table. Raj picks up a piece of papar and starts eating it.
You know what? I liked him.
Don't.
I'm going to have to reheat the food again.
Raj passes the plate over and they sit and eat while Kamal starts picking up the food and taking it to the kitchen. Lights slowly fade. Curtain. All right.
Yeah.
Nice work. Well, thank you so much for joining me in this last minute version of this play. I really appreciate it. That was a little bit of fun. My camera takes a couple seconds to come on, but it'll come any second here. Amazing, great stuff is what they're saying. The producers from the headquarters there where everybody's running the stuff, the system. So thank you so much. A couple of you are in my reading next week. So I look forward to that. It was very good of you to join us. And I think we're done for the day, but I just got to check in with the producers to see if the other producers are going to join us. We could talk to the playwright. Do we have Tanvi here for a second? Actors, don't go away just yet in case we talk to you too.
I'm here.
There's Tanvi. So how was this process for you, Tanvi? What did you learn about writing in your play?
I think for me, the biggest thing was balancing the comedy with sort of the commentary I was trying to make, and flipping this, like, I think common trope of like bringing someone unacceptable or like who is of a different race or something to your family's house for dinner. And I think we've seen it on screen a number of times. And so I wanted to, on screen, on stage a number of times. So I wanted to sort of play with that, but also I just wanted to make people laugh. And I think through the process and going through the dramaturgy and getting feedback from my classmates, that's sort of what came out of it.
Beautiful. Now, can you tell me, did you go to any of the rehearsals?
No, I wasn't able to make any of them, unfortunately. Scheduling just never worked out, and the ones that I was planning to attend got canceled. It was a whole thing, but the director was kind enough to send me a video of one of the rehearsals, so I got a little bit of it.
So do you have a tiny sense of what difference it makes to have different actors playing the roles?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't want to say which cast was my favorite, but it was no, I think both were, I think, different dynamics, and it's also such a different dynamic when you're looking at a camera as opposed to in the room with each other. But I think like both cast did such a phenomenal job, and it was really wonderful to see it come together.
Yeah, I didn't mean for you to pick favorites. I just think it's funny how people are not funny, interesting and educational, how actors are able to embody a role, because you know the flesh and person and soul makes up a lot of that character that we write onto the page. But definitely the jokes, I think, came through. So hopefully everybody enjoyed a few chuckles. And yeah, that was really good work. So I'm sorry that the festival had to be canceled, and I'm glad that you got some education out of it. And thanks again to the actors for joining us. So next week we have one more edition in the festival, and that's one of my plays. So all these have been short plays. Because I'm a grad student, we got to do a longer play. So my play used to be longer, but now it's only about 70 pages. So it'll probably be about 75 minutes or so. And it's very rapid. So it should be fun and entertaining. So I'm gonna either take a break and I'll come back and say goodbye, or we'll just say goodbye to these actors for now and see if the producers are waiting to have a little interview. If not, we can do that with them next week. So thanks again, actors, playwrights, everybody involved in the festival. You were awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Liesl,
Yes.
just to confirm, there's a rehearsal for A Splendid Savage Place tomorrow, right?
That's right.
Okay, and it's at 2:00?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, great.
Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hi, Brian.
Hey, Liesl.
How's it going?
Good, good.
Congratulations on another successful Brave New Playwrights Festival.
Wow, thank you. Thank you. You are the hostess with the mostest.
Thank you. I felt a little groggy today, but we muddled through.
Well, it was a perfect day, rainy spring day in Vancouver, and so great day to be inside and watching some theater.
I want you to talk a little bit about the evolution of the festival. When I moved to Vancouver, let's just call it the early 90s, it was my very first gig in Vancouver. There was an ad in the Georgia Straight, Directors Wanted, and I came and did a play. I did two plays actually, one the next year as well. That year there was a best of, and so my play went on to Presentation House in North Vancouver. It must have changed a lot over the years. Can you talk a little bit about some of the changes?
Okay. Sorry, please.
Uh-oh, I think we might have lost Brian. He can't hear me. I can't hear you.
Lisa,
Yes.
I screened you twice, so I don't know when to react here. Okay, so why I was delaying was I'm hearing you twice, and I'm actually hearing myself again. Anyways, I think you wanted me to talk about the changes.
You know what? If the tech is not comfortable for you right now, Brian, we can do this next week. No problem.
Okay.
Because I love the story of the festival, and we might have lost some people at the end there anyway. So let's just make sure we're ready to do it. We're ready to go next week. Okay. No, he can't hear me. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. And I hope you enjoyed a little entertainment on the rainy afternoon. I look forward to seeing you next week. Next week, our last week, is going to be my play. So I'm kind of excited because I've been working hard on it. What a great joy. What a great gift this festival has been to me. Not only am I currently employed with them, but I also get to work on my plays. So it's a great gift that Brian Wade has created for so many artists over the years. Like, it must have been hundreds. I mean, 34 years. What's 34 times 100? There you go. Lots and lots of people. So thank you so much, everybody. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Here's to the